This week, a clash between the White House and the Vatican spilled into full public view. Pope Leo XIV, the first American-born pope, condemned the U.S. Israeli war against Iran, calling threats to destroy Iranian civilization truly unacceptable. President Trump fired back on Truth Social, calling the Pope weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. Should the administration have taken a more diplomatic approach? We hear both sides.
What we witnessed this week was not diplomacy, it was a tantrum. Pope Leo XIV stood before the world and said what over 1 billion Catholics already believe: that threatening to erase an entire civilization is morally wrong. And the President of the United States responded by calling the leader of the Catholic Church weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. The Archbishop of Washington called this war a war of choice, not a just war. The president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops said he was disheartened by Trump's disparaging words. Even Bishop Robert Barron, a figure friendly to conservatives, said Trump's comments were entirely inappropriate and disrespectful, and called for an apology. This is not a fringe reaction. This is the American Catholic Church speaking with one voice, and the White House chose to escalate anyway. Our opponents will argue Trump was simply defending American security interests. But you can defend a policy without attacking the moral authority of the world's largest Christian denomination. President Lyndon Johnson met Pope Paul VI after a papal anti-war speech during Vietnam and called the exchange dignified. The office of the presidency used to understand that distinction. This administration does not.
My opponent cites Bishop Barron and the Bishops' Conference as a unified Catholic rebuke. Fair enough, those voices are real, but they prove too much. American Catholics themselves voted for Trump by more than 50% in 2024. The bishops do not speak for the pews. And here is the flat fact my opponent skips entirely. The Pope himself entered this fight first. Leo called Trump's rhetoric truly unacceptable on the world stage before Trump posted a single word. The president did not start this exchange. He responded to it, calling that a tantrum misreads the sequence of events entirely. Now let me make the affirmative case for why a firm response was not only appropriate, but necessary. The Pope is an American citizen leading a global institution from a foreign sovereign state. He chose to use that platform to condemn a sitting American military operation by name, calling the president's rhetoric unacceptable in the middle of active hostilities with a regime that had killed over 42,000 of its own unarmed citizens. Iran is pursuing a nuclear weapon. That is not a theological debate. It is a strategic fact. Vice President Vance, a Catholic himself, correctly noted that in some cases, the Vatican should let the American president handle American foreign policy. The administration did not question the Pope's right to speak. It pushed back on the substance. There is a meaningful difference. What would a purely diplomatic non-response have communicated to Tehran? That the United States fractures under moral pressure from a friendly institution? That is not strength. That is the kind of ambiguity that invites miscalculation from adversaries. Respectful disagreement is fine. Silence in the face of a public attack on wartime policy is not an option.
My opponent says the Pope fired first. I'll grant him the chronology and move past it, because it does not matter who spoke first. What matters is how a superpower responds. Trump did not issue a firm policy rebuttal. He posted that Leo was weak on crime, shared an AI image of himself as Jesus Christ, and told the world he prefers the Pope's brother. Even conservative allies like Giorgia Meloni called that unacceptable. When your sharpest European partner breaks with you to defend the Pope, the argument that your response was measured simply does not hold.
The left argued that Trump's personal attacks on Pope Leo were diplomatically reckless and drew condemnation from Catholic leaders across the board. The right maintained that a firm rebuttal was warranted given the Pope's direct public challenge to an active U.S. military operation. The sharpest disagreement, whether tone and substance are separable when the target is the Vatican,